is going to go viral, and a lot of people are going to take me seriously, and all they're going to remember is that I told you that you couldn't put down the Dunkin' Donuts long enough to make an argument. Now, can you make one or not?
Oh, you know, this is schoolboy.
By the way,
tactic.
a real man doesn't speak down to a woman the way you do.
I don't care what you think.
You're not a real man. You're actually very feminine if you ask me. You're a very feminine man.
Yeah, nobody cares what you think real men are.
You sound super feminine.
Mate.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Grab a seat because this one got heated fast. This time we're jumping into a Piers Morgan panel that turned into a full-on clash over family, feminism, and gender roles. On one side, you've got Andrew, who isn't backing down from the idea that society should put the family and motherhood front and center. On the other side, a group of panelists pushing hard the other way. And what starts as a discussion about birth rates and household life quickly spirals into one of the spiciest exchanges you'll see all week. Stick around all the way through, because the best moment isn't at the start. It's when one slogan everybody on that panel kept repeating completely falls apart under its own weight, and you won't want to miss who catches it. And while you're here, do me a favor and drop a comment letting me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough setup. Let's get into it.
Sure.
Can you put the Dunkin' down for a second and give me an argument? Do you have an argument? Or is it just
Sorry,
Andrew
I haven't heard
bad?
one from you.
Yes, I've given you multiple arguments for the social fabric of all of society and how we can improve it, what we need to be doing, what we need to be moving towards. I gave you all the stats. I gave you argument after argument. Can you give me a single argument?
All the stats. You are the oracle. You know all about the universe and what's going to progress humankind. You're just a shock jock, mate.
It's not psychic ability.
You're just pathetic. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're an aggressive, insecure man.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
This is going to go seriously.
Well, this is going to go viral, and a lot of people are going to take me seriously, and all they're going to remember is that I told you that you couldn't put down the Dunkin' Donuts long enough to make an argument. Now, can you make one or not?
Oh, you know, this is schoolboy.
By the way,
tactic.
a real man doesn't speak down to a woman the way you do.
I don't care what you think.
You're not a real man. You're actually very feminine if you ask me. You're a very feminine man.
Yeah, nobody cares what you think real men are.
You're pathetic, mate.
Yeah.
And how
nobody cares what you think a real man is.
That you're such a big boy by slating, bringing in personal insults about women's appearance.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
I'm sorry. You guys think that you can assault people.
When you go out into the big wide world from behind your macho
Well, one day when I go out in the big wide
there.
world, I hope people will take me as seriously as they do women who make zero arguments.
Wait, why are you on
Piers
Morgan? Shouldn't you go be working right now and making money for your family to support? How do you have time to come? I'm working. I don't have kids.
What are you talking about?
I don't have a husband. I'm 23 years old. I'm not married with kids yet, but it seems like you should go be working right now to fulfill your job.
This is the moment the whole panel cracks open, and I need you to watch how it happens. Andrew turns to her and says, "Can you put the Dunkin' down for a second and give me an argument?" And here's what people miss when they only watch the clip for the drama. That line works because it's true in the moment. He had already laid out his position, he'd made his case, and what came back at him? Nothing. Not a counterpoint, not a stat, not even an attempt. You have to understand why this matters. In any real debate, the person who keeps demanding substance is the person who actually has substance. Andrew kept asking, "Can you give me a single argument?" He asked it more than once. And every single time, the answer was a personal jab instead of a position. That's the tell. That's always the tell. And then she goes to the oldest move in the book. A real man doesn't speak down to a woman the way you do. And look, I get why that feels powerful in the room. But think about what it actually does. It changes the subject. It turns a conversation about birth rates and family structure into a conversation about whether Andrew is masculine enough. That's not a rebuttal. That's an exit ramp. Here's the part that blows my mind. When Andrew said he's going to get paid a lot of money to be there, the only comeback was to mock his bank account. Not the idea, not the man's wallet. And that tells you everything about who actually walked in prepared and who walked in hoping volume would carry them. This is why the clip travels. People can feel the difference between someone defending a worldview and someone just performing outrage at one.
Gender role as a big, strong man.
I am working right now.
Oh, we'll get to work.
Let me ask.
You're not being paid to be here?
Yes, lady. I'm going to get paid a lot of money ultimately to be here. You have no idea what you're talking about. If you saw my bank account, what I make doing stuff like this, it would make you weep.
Show us your bank account to make yourself feel more secure.
It would make you weep. Yeah, hey, the only thing you could think of was to try to assault my bank account, lady.
Assault?
That's it. That's the only thing you can think of. The only thing you can think of is you don't work enough. You don't work enough. It's ridiculous.
Let me play. I want to play Emily. I want to play Emily a clip. This has gone viral too. It's had 120 million views. There's a woman who suggests she's about to leave her husband because he doesn't do enough domestic chores. Let's take a look.
If you do not participate in an equitable way in your home, and so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope, and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this.
I mean, Emily, I would personally, I would travel continents to avoid a lady like that. But what's your view of what she's saying?
To me, her rant, take away the gender for a moment, because I actually believe women are a lot messier than men, just in terms of our makeup, our clothing, the abundance of clothing that we have. I think we definitely purchase more accessories than men. And I think we also, like I said, there are gender roles I believe in should be responsible for most of the cleaning. Then on the other hand, if you're marrying a slob, A, you should know who you're getting into a household with. But B, if you're in a happy marriage and you have a sense of communication, why not just sit your partner down and be like, hey, I don't mind cleaning up after you, but when you throw your filthy socks on the bathroom sink or you leave your wet towel and we have mold, I'd appreciate if you could not do this. But I don't think it gets to an extent where like divorce is justifiable unless your husband is like a hoarding pig that's unbearable to live with. I think she's being a little bit dramatic here. And we all can acknowledge women are a bit messier than men, and it should be just like looking after one another. It's not a big deal to clean up after your partner, and that could go both ways. Not everything is so black or white.
Andrew?
Well, first of all, stay-at-home moms are mostly nowadays parking their kids in public school for most of the day. Oftentimes, the kids are taking buses from the city to the school and buses home. They're not even driving them. Okay, not even driving them. And they have fully furnished lunch, even breakfast at most of these public schools, right? They don't even have to send them with a lunch anymore. They have all day to do household chores while men are working. Right? No, women do not do a disproportionate amount of work in comparison to men. That's absurd. No labor statistic supports that. And even if we were to take household chores and put it on the table against a man's work, doesn't even come close, even with children, especially because you're parking them most of the time in a public school for most of the day. This lady who's making this TikTok, totally insane, completely disconnected from reality, has no idea how this actually works.
She's not totally
Julie,
insane.
your response to
You're
that.
going to make a choice to marry a girl who's going to cook and clean and do everything. And me as a woman, I'm going to make a choice to hire a housekeeper one day so that I don't have to cook and clean because that's my choice. The problem is you're too obsessed with other people's choices. Live and let live. Like, take a step back and recognize not everyone has to be as extreme as you are. Like, yes, women
live
should
and
cook
let
and
live
clean,
till
but
it comes to the transgenders.
If they're not perfect,
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's
I
crazy.
do live and let live.
till
Don't
it comes
play
to the
my part.
transgenders.
I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care if you're transgender.
I don't understand.
Go for it. I'm not marrying a transgender.
Let them go play their
Let
sports.
them live and let live. Absolutely.
Live and let live.
And here's where it gets genuinely interesting, because Emily actually says something most people in that seat would never admit out loud. She says women purchase more accessories than men, and that women are a bit messier than men. Now think about that. She's not towing a party line. She's being honest about lived reality, and honesty is rare on a panel built for fireworks. But the heavier blow lands when Andrew takes on that viral household labor narrative head on. He says, no, women do not do a disproportionate amount of work in comparison to men. And whether you agree with every word or not, watch the structure of what he does. He doesn't just shout it. He points to something specific, that stay-at-home moms are mostly nowadays parking their kids in public school for most of the day. And here's what people don't realize. That's an actual argument. You can test it. You can push back on it. You can bring data against it. That's the whole point. He gave the other side something to grab onto, and what came back was mostly the claim that he's just obsessed with other people's choices. Let me break down why that exchange matters so much. There's a real debate buried in here about whether modern domestic life is as one-sided as social media makes it look. And the side that brought a framework, chores, schooling hours, time budgets, is the side actually engaging with the question. The side that retreated to live and let live was dodging it. This is the part that frustrates me. A genuinely fascinating conversation about how households share labor got flattened into vibes. And the person willing to make a falsifiable claim got treated like he committed a crime for having one.
You
No.
people contradict
That's
yourselves
not equality.
so much.
That's their
it's
superiority.
Absurd. Yeah, it's
No,
not
I think you're
superiority.
just
What's
stupid
going on
because
right
I'm
now,
explaining myself and making
Yeah.
sense.
the explanation makes no
Let me-
sense.
Transgenders
I saw
absolutely should live
Stacia
and let
wanting-
live. They should not participate in sports.
Let's let
It's called a
Stacia-
boundary.
Let Stacia talk. Stacia, you wanted to say something?
You're just all walking contradictions. It's crazy that you can even say something like that. You guys are all fighting with each other about live and let live, and we're having an entire conversation about trans people and their ability or lack of ability to be in sports. So it's wild to watch him with the cigarette, like think he's all pompous, and you over there acting like it's just ridiculous.
Hey, I'm the only one here who is consistent. I said I don't care if you people go in and beat the tar out of women. I don't care. Go do it. They voted for it. I think they need a taste of their own medicine. I think it's good for them. And maybe some of this madness will stop if they actually have to take accountability and deal with the consequences of their own voting.
You're actually insane. You're in
Stop.
your
I
rage
want to make it very
Ju-
clear. I don't care that you're transgender. I genuinely don't care if today you're a woman, tomorrow you're a man, the next day you want to identify as a cat or a dog. I really don't. Like, it's not my issue. But when you make it my issue, when you want to play in my sport, I was a tennis player my whole life. If a man came along who identified as a woman, who I will respect as a woman, I will respect your pronouns, but you want to now eradicate women's sports, now it's my problem too.
Just
as long as
live
it's
and
not my
let
problem
live,
and you go
man.
do you, live exactly. Thank you.
Just live and let live, man.
Now this is the moment that exposes the entire contradiction, and you cannot unsee it once you catch it. The whole table keeps preaching live and let live, over and over. It's the slogan. It's the comfort blanket. And then the second the topic turns, the same people draw a hard line, live and let live, until it comes to the transgender question. Andrew catches it instantly, and he's right to, because you can't have it both ways. You can't build your entire moral framework on never judging anyone's choices, and then carve out the one exception that happens to be inconvenient for you. That's not a principle. That's a preference wearing a principle's clothing. And the moment that contradiction surfaces, the slogan stops being a philosophy and starts being a shield. And here's the point that I think genuinely lands. Stacia draws the cleanest line of the night when she says you want to now eradicate women's sports. Now it's my problem too. Think about how reasonable that actually is. She's not saying she hates anyone. She's saying my tolerance ends where it starts erasing the category I belong to. That's not bigotry. That's a boundary. And boundaries are allowed to exist. You want to know why this whole panel resonates with so many people? Because it captures something everyone feels but few can articulate. There's a difference between leaving people alone and being forced to celebrate every demand made of you. One is freedom, the other is compliance dressed up as kindness. And the lesson buried in all of this is older than any of us. Societies have always tested their values by their exceptions, not their slogans. It's easy to say live and let live when nothing's on the line. The real test of a belief is what you do when it finally costs you something. That's where the loudest people on that panel went quiet, and that silence said more than any argument could. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.